It's Monday, May 27. Good afternoon. I'm Herman Green with your midday news. A special welcome if you're watching online at onespotmedia.com. Principal of Wolmer's Boys School, Dr. Walton Small, was presented on Saturday as the next candidate for the People's National Party, PNP, in St. James Southern. Incumbent Member of Parliament, Derek Kelly, is to retire from representative politics ahead of the next general elections. In his address to supporters at the Anchovy High School, Dr. Small said he has already started canvassing support from voters in the constituency.
I want to thank you for accepting me as your candidate. I am fit, ready, and willing to deal with the task ahead. The love and support that you have shown me is highly appreciated. If they think we did done in South St. James, I come with us, I come. And I want to tell them, run boy run, because the owner for the yard.
He says he will also step down from other positions he holds to devote his time to the constituents.
Me no want to go back to Kingston, no want to stay here, so. You see, after the 21st, come here, give up everything else to come right, that's all. No more Issa, no more Wolmer's, everything South St. James.
Meanwhile, PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips has taken the government to task for what he has described as the poor state of the Charles Gordon Market in St. James.
The conditions of the market could not be worse. Garbage gathered, maggots in the garbage, fly all around, bathrooms not cleaned, mud on the ground beside the food that's going to sell to people.
According to Dr. Phillips, the government has been mismanaging taxpayers' money while the country's aging infrastructure is neglected. He pointed to the controversial sale of the rooms on the Beach Hotel and lands in Ocherius as one example.
I said the $1 billion of value when them give away a beach in Ocherius, way below the value. $1 billion, it could have built 2 markets and leave over.
Dr. Phillips was addressing party supporters after touring the market and other sections of St. James on Saturday. The Police Federation is investigating reports that one of the policemen injured in yesterday's confrontation with armed thugs in Maypen, Clarendon experienced a delay in getting a CT scan. It's reported that the delay was due to no payments being made. It's understood that the CT scan was done after a businessman paid the bill.
When it comes on to police officers injured on duty, nothing should be delayed. Everything should be activated immediately. And that is why our Minister of National Security has spoken about a protocol in the different public hospitals, the different health facilities. And I'm hoping for that to be materialized very soon because, you know, these unpredictable situation, we do not want any delay because it can be very, very dangerous. When they come in their uniform, automatically their systems of attendance and healthcare must be operationalized fully to ensure that the police officer is well attended to.
There's another appeal for the National Works Agency, NWA, to fast-track plans to fix the drainage problem in Maypen, Clarendon after heavy rains yesterday left a number of streets inundated. The downpour again caused extensive flooding on the compound of the Maypen Hospital. Leaking roofs and water from the compound flooded the walkways, making it difficult for hospital staff and visitors to move around. One woman told our news center that she had to pay $100 to be transported via a wheelchair from one section of the hospital to another. Carl Marsh, who was visiting a relative at the hospital, expressed frustration with the flooding.
I'm a patient on the ward, I want to go look for them, and I can't go up there. I feel bad about the situation. About half one, I want to go up there. And I can't sit down, I can't go up there. So just tell me where you can. The water flood out.
Member of Parliament for Central Clarendon, Mike Henry, has renewed his complaints about the failure of the authorities to deal with the drainage problem from Soursup Turn to Maypen.
That road from Soursup Turn to Maypen and the drainage needs to be done like tomorrow. Cars are being covered by rain that only is 20 minutes on. And the town is threatened, as I said, by that decision that was made to not start the road in Maypen going towards Soursup Turn. So it's very urgent for us to recognize, and I say to the citizens of Maypen, my sincere apology.
He also blasted successive governments for not installing a catchment facility at the hospital.
This is an eminent example that you're here at this hospital now with the rain falling. We're in a drought. The rain is falling, and you are now seeing the hospital being flooded with water. Now the engineers and the architects must know where we are and what we need. So each of these things should be planned for, just as we have condemned the tanks and didn't use them because we maybe high chlorination is necessary. And we make a lot of things being done which belong to other countries which are not accepting our cultural structure and our historical development process.
A St. Elizabeth farmer is dead following a motorcycle crash on the weekend. He has been identified as 23-year-old Mark James, otherwise called Grammy and Junior, of Treasure Beach in the parish. According to reports, about 8 o'clock, the motorcycle which Mr. James was driving collided with a Range Rover motor car that turned into his path along Sandy Bank. The police stated that Mr. James was not wearing any protective gears. He received severe injuries and was rushed to the Black River Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The driver of the Range Rover has since been warned for prosecution. This is the 16th road fatality in St. Elizabeth since the start of the year. And it's time for a break. We have more stories in our midday package right after these messages. Welcome back to Midday News. Thanks for staying with us. Residents of the new building community this morning staged a protest outside the gates of Alpart Alumina plant in St. Elizabeth. The residents are fuming as they say despite previous meetings with the company regarding stench and caustic pollution from the plant, there has been no progress. The residents were subsequently called into a meeting with representatives of the company where they again echoed their calls for the matter to be addressed.
We live just round a punch board behind the dome where the casket white, where it's kill, everything done that side. That around there so we live. And nothing. The people then will live back one Mr. Myer'sville, where Tantanmon, where the red dot as one of say. But what about this stench?
But that's not the only issue the residents face. They contend that when they fall ill and are sent to the doctor by the company, no tests are done to ascertain what's the real issue.
They just run come and give us some pill and give where the medication from. That you put one test on the people to know what type of damage they can do. You see outside, you don't see inside. That medication can help kill you. But look here, you chip me the finger, where another finger are the problem. So you're not supposed to set me up, send me to a doctor, and doctor cheat me outside. Send me go do a test that know what happened inside. You don't like. True. That don't matter. That's true. You don't see that.
In addressing the residents, production manager at Gisco Alpart, Patrick James, outlined the steps the company plans to take.
What we can do from our medical department or HR is have the conversation with the medical persons because they are the best ones to indicate what sort of treatment.
Students and teachers at the Highgate Primary and Junior High School in St. Mary are elated as the school recently received new classrooms, which they were badly in need of. The classrooms were built with funds donated by the Japanese government under the program Grassroots Human Security Projects. The initiative is part of a partnership forged in March 2017 between the National Education Trust and the Japanese Embassy in Jamaica to upgrade schools across the island.
We had 23 classrooms up to last year, resulting in an average of 28 children per classroom. That was not very comfortable, especially to be partitioned by chalkboards or whiteboards.
The project has allowed for space and comfort And the 2 classrooms now accommodate roughly 55 students, 2 teachers, and they're now better able to structure their programs.
We had some funds left over, which the Japanese kindly allowed us to use to effect repairs to a perimeter fence for the classrooms. And with a little toops left over, they gave us permission to use that to paint murals on the walls.
The pool of funds for the project is valued at $113,000 US.
I now take this opportunity to reiterate our genuine hope to continue our collaborative work with the people and the government of Jamaica to further improve the educational environment for our most precious treasures, our children.
The ambassador was speaking at the handing over ceremony held recently. The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, has relocated vendors who usually do business at an open area in Duane Park, St. Andrew, to an area that is expected to stimulate healthy living. For years, the area across from the Corville Gardens community was left vacant and unkept. An increasing number of vendors later inhabited the space. Well, Nestle Jamaica has partnered with the KSAMC to improve the environment. One resident, Robert Wilson, believes it will make a big difference to the surroundings.
What we've suggested, and we're just, I think the community will do it, is we've agreed to put up a farmer's market and build a farmer's market in the community. So, because it is important, ground provisions, the farmers, the vendors, that is important. You know, maybe not here in this park, but there's other areas right near this park. There is other lands that we can help the community and put up a farmer's market to give them a organized space.
Now, some of the displaced vendors lauded the move to upgrade the park, but they said that it would affect their livelihood.
The park have a long history, wherein enough good activities used to keep, and the park wasn't like this. So I guess, like how the park is like this, the people in the community going to feel proud, them can hang out, you know, other good things.
We're actually reviving and renewing these spaces. These spaces are long overdue. The children nowadays, they need somewhere where they can actually relax and play and get to communicate and actually touch base with each other.
The National Commercial Bank, NCB, is hoping that most people who did not receive their salaries over the weekend because of a glitch in its electronic system will be paid today. NCB's Chief Operating Officer, Septimus Blake, says the bank has been working all weekend after coming under fire late last week. It had upgraded its electronic system, but later discovered that all was not well. Tens of thousands of people who get paid through NCB did not get their salaries. Now, the bank has since apologized for the situation. It said work was done over the weekend to ensure that people who are paid directly through NCB were paid at the end of Sunday, or by the end of Sunday. Employees whose companies have NCB accounts but who get paid through other banks should get their payments today. NCB says it received additional salary files on Saturday and is working to process these in the shortest possible time. As for customers who may default on payments of loans and credit cards because of the issue,
if you had penalties associated with late loan payments, late credit card payments, penalties associated with late payment of utility bills, we expect once we get those requests coming into salary@jncb.com or any of our touch points, we will address, and we commit to address those speedily.
When is it that you are committing to covering those late charges, or what
covering the late charges?
Okay.
Covering the late charges.
So NCB is making that commitment?
For all NCB customers that would have suffered from a delay in payments or would have incurred any penalty, we will make the rest.
And we go down to news in sports. Hashim Amla scored a silky half-century before rain brought an end to the West Indies' first official ICC World Cup warm-up game against South Africa in Bristol on Sunday. Having asked the South Africans to bat first, the West Indies bowlers had no success in their 12.4 overs. with South Africa getting to 95 without loss. Amla hit 8 fours and 1 6 in reaching 51 from 46 delivers, while Quinton de Nock was unbeaten on 37 when rain brought an end to play. The West Indies will now be hoping for better weather in Bristol on Tuesday when they are set to play New Zealand in their final warm-up game before playing Pakistan on Friday in their World Cup opener in Nottingham. Pakistan, in the meantime, also saw their final warm-up game against Bangladesh abandoned due to rain. And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Please join us at 7 for the primetime news package. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.